garden. And like I said earlier, the first time I went live, today's plan, things don't always go planned in the garden, go as planned. But today's plan was to dig up the dahlia tubers that I left in the ground. And like I mentioned before, I only felt comfortable leaving them in the ground because last 2023 season we forgot to dig some up and they bloomed again. So I was like, okay, well, in that case, we can leave them in the ground again. Wrong. So I dug up the tubers and I've already, but as you can see, I dug up the tubers from these spots and unfortunately they were all rotten. Every single one of them. And that's the risk you take being in this zone 6B. And it's a waste, but like I said, we still have a ton of tubers that are being donated and the ones that we did store over in Garden Dream. So all is not lost. We still have a lot of tubers. We have an abundance of tubers actually. But unfortunately, those ones didn't survive. So once I figured out that the tubers did not survive, I decided to put my attention elsewhere in the garden. And I showed you all the feverfew earlier. So we'll take a look at what I did in the feverfew bed. So what I did was I weeded this bed and then I added compost around each plant just to give it an extra nutrient boost as it starts to bloom this season. And what I'm going to do as the feverfew gets taller is add stakes and netting because last season the feverfew was so tall that it was just falling over. So I'm not going to add the stakes and netting yet. I'm going to give it a chance to grow a little more before I add that to it. But this is what the feverfew looks like all the way down to here. And then here is a gap. So I'm thinking with this gap, I'm going to direct sow some cinnamon basil. That's going to be this area right here. And then from there, there's already Shasta daisies in this bed. I can't exactly remember what these are called. A little blurry. I can't remember what this is called. I'll have to look it up after, but I didn't pull those up. I let those stay there. And some more Shasta daisies. And then some more Shasta daisy. And then Snow Mountain mint, Shasta daisy, and mountain mint, and something else. I can't remember the name of that either. But that's what I did today. Weeded this bed, composted this bed, and I'm going to place some flags here to remember that this is an empty patch where I could plant something. And typically, if I had wood chips mulch, I would wood chip this area, but because we're all out of wood chips, I'm not going to wood chip today. But I would love to hopefully get some like wood chips or leaves mulch to mulch this bed. But that is really all I did today. I was going to trim the raspberry bush, but I don't have on the right pants. I don't know if y'all can see my pants. It's bright out here. But my pants are too thin to get in that raspberry bush because I was getting jabbed up by the branches. So I'll have to wait to trim the raspberry bush for another day. But no, we still got a little bit of time. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll do that. If not tomorrow, maybe next week. But yeah, that's it. That's what I did. So did the dahlia tuber survive the winter? No, they didn't. They didn't survive, but it's okay. You live and you learn. What I am going to do though is go home and see if the ones I planted at my house survived. But we'll see. But that's it for today. So thank you all for checking in. I may do a little more weeding before I leave today. And that's it. So I'll catch y'all next